In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss news and current events that affect us as resellers. Every Wednesday, I have a live stream about reselling, and I usually interview another reseller and have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. If you're interested in reselling, then you are in the right place. I'm just going to pop in the chat to say hello to a few people, and we shall get started very shortly. Right now we don't have a lot of people in the chat, just me and I'll bring my guest on. Randy's here to help me out a little bit, guys. Like I said, I have a handful of articles to discuss about reselling. I have my typical glitch bay glitch, so we'll talk about that, and we'll get in touch with Randy to see if he has any glitches that he's aware of. So then we shall talk about some other things as well, some of the other platforms, mainly eBay, but of course we got to talk about shipping because it's that time of year. So anyway, Lisa, thank you for joining us. And I did open up your Instagram message. Thank you so much. Mike Flipping Goodies, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I would. I don't want to waste the people to come in here for reselling content, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, Lisa. Okay. All right. Let me get into the gist. Let me bring my partner in crime today, Mr. Randy Fasix. Hello,
hey,
sir.
Everyone.
Randy is
Mike.
Randy is kind enough to join me today. I told Randy I have a handful of stories. I just want to get his input and then have him kind of monitor the chat, because when I'm reading the stories, obviously I can't be in the chat monitoring what's going on. So Randy will be commenting on the issues affecting us as resellers, and I'll invite you guys as well to pop on if you want to pop on a little bit later. So typically we have an hour show, but today should be a little bit shorter. For those of you that are baseball fans, it's the World Series, and those of you that know me know I'm in the Philadelphia area, and since it's a news show, we're going to watch the World Series later tonight. So anyway, good to see you, Kristen. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll get to that a little bit later, Kristen. That's another story, but we want to talk about reselling to start with. We'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, Randy, you monitor the chat. If any questions come up, make me aware of them, sir.
Okay, here's somebody who wants to know, Adam, are you auditioning for the role of Uncle Fester now?
Uncle Fester. I used to get that I look like Andy Reid, for those of you that know football and know the Philadelphia Eagles and current coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's not any facial hair. I don't really look at Andy Reid anymore. So I guess I am Uncle Fester. So all right, thanks for the compliment, Randy. Just off to a flying start. All right, the first article. Can Amazon do used goods better than eBay? eBay CEO Jamie Iannone told the Financial Times eBay was ceding the new and in-season market to Amazon to return to its roots in collectibles and used goods, including used luxury brands. But just a day earlier, news broke that Amazon was getting into used luxury goods. The partnership with Reseller, what goes around comes around. The deal allows Amazon to stock goods from many of the luxury brands that eschew selling new products on Amazon directly. eBay CEO had told the Financial Times that sellers of new and in-season goods are more likely to sell on Amazon or Walmart than on eBay, and said he was pinning his hopes on the return to used items and collectibles, the focus on high-end reselling. eBay has focused its attention on the categories including luxury watches and handbags through its vertical strategy, aka focused category strategy, requiring authentication. Thank you, Adam, for certain sales in those categories. It's not that Amazon is likely to offer all the kind of used goods eBay does, but it looks like it could skim the cream off the top of eBay's focus categories. Not only must eBay now deal with the prospect of having to compete with Amazon head-to-head in these categories, but the Financial Times raised another cause for concern for the eBay CEO. Some high-end brands are looking to offer their own resale stores. Will Amazon take share in luxury goods from eBay and other specialty sites that cater to buyers of luxury goods? And what will Amazon's presence in this space mean for eBay? I'd like to ask the people in the chat your thoughts about Amazon getting involved now in the used goods market, and what do you think will take a large portion of used goods sales from eBay? Randy, your thoughts, sir?
Anything that waters itself down is never going to be as strong as the original. So as eBay waters itself down and Amazon waters itself down, that leaves a lot of open territory for somebody else to jump right in. And who will that other person be? Will it be Kroger, who just bought up basically most of the larger competition that was available for sale?
Yes.
Will it be Target? Will it, who knows who it will be? Or will it be some Chinese company that comes over here?
Like
And,
Alibaba.
there's already one that wants to compete with Amazon. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know. And I think as it does, are they going to treat their sellers even worse than they do now?
Meaning
I mean,
Amazon or eBay? Amazon?
both.
Both. Okay.
I think there has been a downturn in the way sellers are treated and the way the platforms are designed toward, the buyer.
Okay.
And I realize that it's a difficult balance to balance sellers and buyers, especially when you're dealing in a worldwide commodity market.
Sure.
But I think it's been pretty bad all the way around. The quality of these platforms has not gone up. It's really gone down over the years. I've done this for, many years, probably many more than most people. I was there when Amazon failed and shut their site down. I was there when they built it back up again. And I I haven't really seen. I've seen a lot of good improvements, but I've seen as many that are bad. That's just
Absolutely.
my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, absolutely. And I feel they should consult with the sellers as well. That's one of the articles I'm actually going to get into. One of the articles I'm going to speak about today. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. But and again, you'll see my comments about this article when I get to it. But anyway, I agree with you. And my understanding is Amazon doesn't treat its sellers very well. We all know how eBay treats its sellers. So and my understanding is with you and Mike that at the current time, Walmart treats its sellers relatively well. But I guess time will tell with that as well once they expand and get larger and larger.
They have parts of their platform that are really excelling, and then they have some other parts of their platform which really need a lot of help.
Okay.
I think they're a step above most of their competition. Will that remain that way? I honestly don't know.
Right. Well, that was a perfect transition, Randy. Thank you so much. I did kind of plan this out on my own, but you really segued it very well. My next article: what can the new voice for eBay sellers do for you? My namesake, Adam Ireland, is the new head of eBay's U.S. division and said he's ready to serve as voice of the sellers. He's been with the company for 11 years, most recently as Vice President, America's Operations, and before that, Senior Director, Customer Experience Transformation from December 2016 to June of 2019. Ireland took on the role of Vice President and General Manager of eBay US after Jordan Sweetenham's role grew to include European responsibilities. Seller's first introduction to Ireland came during last month's eBay Open virtual event, and on Friday, he took the eBay Seller Announcement Board. Ireland said the collaboration we're able to have with our seller community is one of the things that makes eBay unique. I look forward to meeting many of you in the near future and partnering with you all to ensure we continue making eBay the platform on which you want to sell. I'm also incredibly excited about the momentum we've built in the past few years, and which is only going to keep accelerating. Feels like a lifetime ago that we started the journey we're on, identifying and investing in key categories to drive enthusiastic, high value, and loyal buyers and business across the entire marketplace. By moving fast, experimenting, and innovating for the future, and most importantly, working in close partnership with you, our sellers, we're building the strongest eBay ever. Which brings me to the connections I look forward to building with you. As I step into this role, I promise that I and all of eBay will remain laser focused on listening to you, responding to your needs, and championing the growth of your business. So stay tuned for lots ahead. We have new faces to introduce to you, more of that in the coming weeks, and I'm making plans to meet and get more acquainted with many of you. Finally, keep an eye out for our holiday outlook, which is just around the corner, and bring with interesting and optimistic insights. I'll be sharing what's trending and selling as the usual holiday season kicks into high gear. I may even toss in a photo or two of my infamous Christmas sweater collection. Well, my comment on that is, do you think it will be the same old with eBay? Or they actually start listening to sellers and become more seller friendly? Folks in the chat, you can comment. Randy, what's your opinion of the eBay, quote unquote, becoming more seller friendly?
Well, I've heard the song before. The tune sounds the same. I heard that song with the new CEO a few years back.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And I felt it was right on what he had to say. Only problem is it never happened. Okay. Will it happen this time? I don't know. Of course, you have to realize that he's not the only one making the decision.
True.
He has people to answer to.
Yep. So,
although his intentions may be good, we'll see when the cake's done baking in the oven.
I like that. By the way, guys, Randy is wearing a hunting hat. And I said something to Randy. I said, "Oh, you're wearing a hunting hat today." He says, "I'm hunting for reselling bargains." But I'm Paul. Anyway, Randy, thank you, sir. All right, we'll get into the next article, guys. But any of you in the chat can comment on that as well as those people watching the replay. I just feel eBay is what it is, and they're 99% behind the buyers typically. And I'm sure, like, Randy's been selling on that platform a lot longer than I have. I've been on approximately 4 years-ish. I'm sure a lot of you have been on longer than I have, and it's always been, since I've been involved with eBay, it's been a very buyer-centric site. They rarely side with the seller. So I think there's a need, and they do meet with people, like Katie and Vicky. Those of you who know Katie and Vicky, and Kristen's in the chat, and she went to their convention in Las Vegas, but they're meeting, pretty frequently with eBay executives. But do they listen to what they have to say? I guess the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Well, I'll say this. Maybe next year at this time, we'll see what song we're going to sing. Is it going to be the song of the CEO, or is it going to be Silent Night?
Okay. I got you. That's a good point. I thought I'd share this with you guys. I'm wondering if this is possibly on the horizon and whether it would help us as third-party sellers. Will more retailers start charging shoppers for online returns? Zara shoppers in the UK might be thinking twice before clicking add to cart, more than once. Last week, the fast fashion giant started charging its UK customers a fee of £1.95 to return their online purchases. Well, if they drop them off somewhere other than its stores, there is only the cost and time that is spent in line. Now, Zara isn't the first retailer to make this move, and according to analysts, it might not be the last. Here are their thoughts on the strategy. Close call. Apparel is where I see a large portion of brands who are having to start charging for returns. A lot of what we return never gets resold. It either goes into a discount environment or it gets tossed. Doesn't always make it back to the retail in time to be on the sales floor, explained Claire Tassin, retail and e-commerce analyst at Morning Consult. When you're talking fast fashion, there's a strong chance they were not going to be able to resell that item. That also has to play into the economics of when it makes sense to charge customers or when it doesn't. Store run. It is a good strategic move to get people back into the stores. It probably allows people to impulse buy things that they see in the store itself, said Michael Oldleaf, Vice President and Managing Director of Experience Community at R/GA. But it would be clever to do it as maybe on a third return or a second return, rather than everybody who chooses to return gets the charge, since there are people who will buy and might make a mistake, or if it doesn't fit, and they will likely return it. Time will tell. Zara does have a unique customer base that is pretty loyal to its trendy fashions and styles and limited product runs. They've established a great sense of urgency just on how fast they can turn goods, noted Tyler Higgins, the retail practice lead and managing director of AARET. But the other side is that there are a lot of retailers out there that just won't be able to do it immediately. You're going to see this massive tail who just waits to see out how customers respond. Ultimately, they either try to increase their customer acquisition by holding the zero returns, or they just follow suit to manage what their margins are. So again, I don't know if that's going to affect us as third-party resellers. Typically, I know a lot of us do charge for returns, and if the product is returned in not like condition. So in other words, if we're selling something new with tags and gets returned as used, or without the tags, we can't resell it at the normal price, so we can discount the return to the buyer. But so I'm just curious how that's going to affect. Again, a lot of this stuff starts over in the UK, like kind of like test markets, or in other markets, and then they kind of roll it into the United States. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I'm sure that's something that maybe in the future. Randy, same thing I would think, right? Just wait and see right on that.
Yeah, I think it's something that I really haven't thought about. Returns are a pain. I get returns from Walmart, and I don't really know why they returned them. And I almost like that better than knowing why they returned them, because usually the excuses are pretty poor ones. I had somebody who wants to return something because it doesn't taste like apple. Well, I never advertised it as apple. It was watermelon.
Okay. I guess that wouldn't taste like apple if it was watermelon.
Yeah, I would hope it doesn't taste like apple at all.
It shouldn't. Yeah. Agreed. That's crazy.
A lot of people return things because they found it cheaper.
Yeah, I guess that is a big situation, right?
Sure.
They buy something, they're shopping. Maybe they're buying it as a gift, and they're holding out for the future, and that's what happens.
I mean, right now, if you look on eBay, depending on how you set up your ad, there's 17 competitors underneath you that show up on your page that are cheaper than you are.
Right.
And then you wonder why your sales are bad.
True.
Some of them are to take you off platform, which is actually against eBay's policy.
Yes, exactly.
But that doesn't matter.
True. That is what it is. That reminds me, I was telling somebody today, I was chit-chatting with somebody when they, I don't think I shared it with you guys yet. So, I try to stay away from religion and politics, but I did vote today because I'm not in a condition to stand in line for a half an hour or 45 minutes to vote. So I did vote today, and was chit-chatting with some of the older the people. They were all older people pretty much that were servicing the election booths, and they totally changed everything. And I'm not going to really get into the details of that, but long story short, I was just chit-chatting with these people, and I brought up that I have some health issues, and I went to vote early, and I explained what I just explained to you, why I'm voting early, and that I started talking. I said I do eBay part-time, and we started talking, and this elderly gentleman who was a retired service person, which I appreciated his service, he goes, "I don't like eBay." It's like, you don't want to push my buttons. I think to myself, okay, filter this. I said, you don't have to like eBay, sir, but I sell on eBay. Because I like Facebook Marketplace. I said, yeah, well, I don't like Facebook Marketplace. But anyway, long story short, let me just show you guys why we're talking a little bit about this. The reason I brought this up, and I tell you guys I'm ADD. Sometimes I go off on these tangents, but I'm trying to prove, and I always ask you guys if you can help me. I don't like the eBay, so to speak, but there's cost and time involved in doing this. So, and I try to do the best I can. I'm trying to learn new programs, and Randy and I are trying to put together a new series of videos, and work on trying to get that together and learning editing and things. And I think it'll be great series, guys, for you to watch in the future. So we can just tease that a little bit. But the reason I bring that up was I was talking about something. I was bidding on something that I knew eventually I would need to use on the YouTube, and it was like, man, this thing is really expensive. And I saw it on an auction on eBay. It's like, okay, well, it's typically about $250. So if I get it on auction about like $150 or $160, and I pay another $18 shipping, or I'm like $180-ish, and then plus tax, I'm like $190-ish. So I said, okay, well, $190 is a lot better than $250. Long story short, that's all I was willing to bid. I set my maximum bid. I didn't get it. So I sign up for all these different, e-commerce sales and, text and all these things to try to get deals for myself, as well as to see if I can do any RA or do any OA, to resell. And this device came up. It's normally $250. It was on sale for $196. So over $50 off. So anyway, I won't be using it in the short term, but it's called a let me just put this for a second on full here. It's called a Stream Deck, guys, and basically what it is just a bunch of shortcuts that I can do when I'm streaming. I can do video, music, off and on, toggle things, and that's basically what that is. So anyway, long story short, I was able to get a deal buying this, and it was OA, but I ended up buying it at the retail location I drive, like 10 miles from my house to get it, but it was cheaper for me to buy it retail than it was to buy it on an auction at eBay. So
Adam, are we going to see you dance to that?
No, I don't do TikTok. Anyway, I thought I would bring that up because, again, I talk about, a lot of these auction things where people are selling things online at the various YouTube auctions and buy it now sales, and you got to do your due diligence. I mean, I see sometimes things it's like, oh, that looks like a good deal. I could probably resell that. And then I do the research. It's like, I really can't make much money selling that. So again, do your due diligence, do your research, and I'm sure we've all bought things where we bought things. It's like, well, I thought this will fly out of here. It didn't sell very well, and other times we bought things like, yeah, I don't know about this, and it was a home run. So, how to make that analogy to home run since it's the World Series tonight. So, anyway, I thought that would be apropos. Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna get to the next article, and I did mention earlier, if you were here at the beginning of the stream, that there would be a article about Glitch Bay. I like to call eBay Glitch Bay sometimes, so I'll use this line: deja vu all over again. Glitch Bay strikes again. eBay acknowledges glitch affecting ended listing search. eBay acknowledged a glitch that prevents sellers from finding their ended items. Is this an eBay glitch / bug? One seller asked on Sunday. After a few more sellers said they too were experiencing the problem, an eBay moderator wrote, "It looks like there is a known site-wide issue when trying to search sold ended listings. If any member is running into this, they can reach out to customer support here and let them know that they are running into alert 14239. eBay hasn't proactively announced the glitch, nor does it appear that on the pinned threads of any of the glitches on a technical issues board." Another seller also reported the problem in the thread, "Search within sold or ended listings totally broken. Right now, I can only bring up the entire, these days, large list. As a text, I CX'd an item." It's your listing. This guy's bad grammar. I'm trying to speak this as best as I could. "As a test, I CX'd a listing and then searched it for nothing found. But when I left the search field blank, that CX listing is at the top of the list of all ended unsold material. The ended file is in the same file as the unsold file on the pull-down menu. Another wonderful day for eBay sellers trying to get actual work completed." It's unclear if this glitch is related to a change reported by a user who said eBay changed the way it displayed ended items on this watch list. "I liked it better when it showed a picture of the ended item on my watch list. Sometimes I would save it for a while to see if the seller relists, and also I would like to sell on eBay someday, and it helped me keep track of those items, and I have as far as I wanted sold for, etc. It's only been changed a few days ago, but I wish we go back to how it was." Another thread, a seller described the same problem impacting sold items. Well, Randy, sir, you do a lot more volume than I do. What has your experience been with Glitch Bay? Any new glitches appearing on eBay?
Well, let me first say, I think the person who wrote the article should download Hemingway.com, okay? Because it would help him to complete a sentence that people could understand.
I actually edited that a little bit, and I'm reading it. It's like I read it a couple times. Like, I don't know how to say this, but anyway, I read it the best I could. With a lot of times, I edit the poor grammar too when I read these. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
But you know what? eBay has always had a problem with listings. Okay, I mean, I continually find my listings missing and taken down, and I think it's a good practice every once in a while to go over your store, because you may find that the reason things aren't selling is because they're no longer listed. I find things listed that I no longer have, and I took the listings down a year ago. So you know what? It's a problem. You just have to learn to live with it.
Yeah, like you said, we talked before, and I've talked to before when I've done news shows, and you've mentioned before. Sometimes things miraculously appear that were sold 2-3 years ago. They sell as an active listing on your page, and then you get dinged for an out of stock.
Yeah, I mean, eBay has come a long way from the beginning. Okay, I mean, I've been there since the beginning. Uh, there were a lot of really good things that they had that they no longer have. Okay, you could actually schedule a half-hour meeting with someone from eBay to go over your store and give you tips and hints of how to make your store more vibrant. Okay, and I signed up for that, and I would say it tripled my business. Now, why they discontinued that, I honestly don't know. Uh, I think eBay for Business on Facebook is excellent. Okay, I mean, but I think some of the support, if you don't have concierge, is terrible.
True, true.
It's absolutely horrible. And I'm not saying that Amazon is better. I actually think they're worse. And some other platforms are just out and out ridiculous. Uh, I don't even, there's a lot of things that really need to be cleaned up on the site before they start going after new markets because they're becoming more and more prevalent. Even their bulk shipping is horrendous.
Yeah.
Their bulk shipping misses printing invoices, misses printing shippers. And if you're not careful, you'll have an order that you won't even ship because you don't even know about it. You've been charged for it. Okay. And
in other words, you purchase the label, but it doesn't print in your bulk shipping list of
right.
items. Right.
I actually no longer, as of this week, I no longer use eBay's bulk shipping at all.
Okay.
I print it through ShipStation. Okay. ShipStation tells me if I printed it and I'm going to reprint it by accident. Okay. If I print a shipper and find out I don't have it, I can cancel the shipper for up to a month. On eBay, I can cancel it up to 3 days.
3 days. Wow.
And I think 3 days is ridiculous.
It sure is.
And if you somebody opens a claim, okay, and so you go to find out from the post office what happened to this package you shipped. The post office takes 3 days to get back to you because that's the time they have.
And then you're already past the limit.
And yeah, you're already past the limit on eBay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some things that really should be corrected.
You would think if you reached out to concierge and they would pass it up, up the ranks, so to speak, and they would say, this doesn't make sense because what you just explained.
I think they get pressured. You keep passing things up and then pressure comes down on you.
True.
So, it depends how the relationship is from the top. That's how the relationship will be from the bottom on up. And unfortunately, you're working from the bottom, not the top.
True.
So, you know what? You just have to live with it and let it go because you're a gnat on an elephant's behind.
True. Yeah. Absolutely. No use getting all, I tell myself that all the time. There's no use getting all worked up over it because you're not going to change it. But it is what it is.
No, and you know what? I mean, I'm sure it's difficult from their part because they have pressure all over the place.
Yeah.
From sellers, from buyers. They're shitty sellers. I'm sorry, it's just the bottom line. As much as there's crummy buyers.
Yep.
And you got to keep them all happy. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
I don't think I ever watched that movie in completion, but
anyway,
it's a good movie, supposedly. All right, guys. This wouldn't be a typical news show if I didn't talk about shipping rates going up. So, anyway, UPS to raise shipping rates 7% after Christmas shipping woes ahead. The cost of shipping via UPS will rise by almost 7% on average after Christmas, and sellers will see higher charges for other fees, including an increase in late payment fees from 6% to 8%, and an increase in the address correction fee from $18 to $19.50. Be sure to check the 2023 rates that apply to you for all the details. In tweeting the news, logistics consultant Kathy Robertson noted that UPS's 6.9% average rate increase for 2023 matched that of FedEx, which announced its annual increase last month. UPS will raise rates on December 27th, 2022, and FedEx will raise its rates on January 2nd, 2023, just in time for the busy post-holiday return season. Aside from higher costs, things could also get thorny for shippers in 2023. In September, OMG Mail Guide published an article, FedEx UPS problems could hit shippers in 2023, about several issues facing carriers. If we rely on FedEx, UPS, and USPS for distribution services, be warned, it wrote. The next few months into 2023 could see FedEx Ground turning away packages, a Teamster strike shutting down UPS, and a postal service taking the brunt of it all as a delivery service as a last resort. For eBay and Etsy sellers, higher shipping costs also mean higher fees, since both of these marketplaces charge commission fees on the price plus shipping. Shippers are already paying more due to the peak rate hikes carriers impose each holiday season. Last week, Reveal compared the peak holiday rates that shippers are now paying UPS and FedEx this year compared to last year, taking into effect the 5.9% general rate increase both carriers introduced for 2022, as well as the peak-specific rate hikes. It concluded that the average FedEx customer will pay 14% more for shipping during this peak season than last year, while the average UPS customer will pay 10% more than last year. Reveal didn't analyze the impact of USPS's peak surcharges that went into effect on October 2nd of 2022. The USPS announced new dominant rate prices taking effect on January 22nd, 2023. Shippers are waiting for the other shoe to drop, as it has yet to announce 2023 rates for competitive services such as priority mail. Basically, this was kind of touched on the article, but I just want to repeat this for you folks. Obviously, shipping is the cost of doing business. So adjust your shipping and selling prices because remember, on sites like eBay, which I mentioned, eBay and Etsy, you are paying fees on a shipping, regardless of whether you're charged for shipping or offer free shipping. So again, that's just a cost of doing business, and want to bring that up to your attention. Diesel fuel, right? Not to mention diesel fuel shortages. Absolutely, I'm hearing horrible things about that. Well, obviously, Randy, that's kind of like in your wheelhouse, so to speak, because you have the wholesale business as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that Lisa brought that up because that is
Yes.
a looming problem. Now, realize the diesel problem also has to do with home heating oil, because the only difference between diesel fuel and home heating oil is the red dye, because one is taxed and one is not.
Okay.
Okay, so if they pull you over in a tractor trailer and you got red diesel fuel, you're going to jail for tax evasion.
Oh, so they put red dye in heating oil, and then they use it in your tank. That shows. Okay, wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yep. So
learn something new every day.
If there's a shortage on home heating oil, I mean,
That's
a shortage on diesel fuel,
right?
There's going to be a shortage on home heating oil, and it's going to be a cold winter.
I had heard that, but I thought it had something to do with the overseas conundrum. But I guess that makes sense too. I guess some of these not so legitimate trucking companies will be using heating oil, right?
And do you realize that McDonald's pays a higher starting wage than the U.S. Post Office?
I believe it.
They do. So now you know why there's a shortage on postal workers.
Yeah, supply and demand, right? I mean, why work for $14 an hour, $13 an hour at the USPS when you go work at McDonald's for $16, $17 an hour to start?
That's right. And people are happier to see you at McDonald's than they are for
Oh,
delivering your mail because it's been horrible. I mean, I haven't had mail here for 4 days.
you haven't any mail to delivered to your residence in 4 days? Well,
No,
that's just
I mean they,
insane.
you know, and there's plenty of people. I mean, there's a lot of places around the country that they're refusing to deliver mail.
Really?
Yeah, basically because of violence.
Okay.
Just for the same reason that Wawa is closing down locations.
Right. Yes, it's crazy, and I hope. I hope the Phillies win the World Series, but I'm a little concerned about. It's not going to affect me, but I'm a little concerned what's going to happen in the city if they do, and it's
And the grease in the polls getting ready.
greasing those poles, baby. Okay, guys. Next article. I wanted to bring this article up to you guys because we spoke with Bob last week about hiring help for his e-commerce business. So I was perusing a lot of the e-commerce newsletter sites, and this article came up, so I figured I would share this with you folks. Should you trust a VA to manage your marketplace listings? Outsourcing tasks can be a great way to help scale business, and virtual assistants have been around for a long time. But reports have been surfacing of sellers being permanently suspended after giving access to their eBay and Amazon accounts to virtual assistants or VAs to manage on their behalf. Many marketplaces and inventory management services offer features that allow account holders to give permissions to employees to do certain discrete tasks without having to give workers their username and passwords. For example, eBay offers multi-user account access, or MUAA, to let sellers delegate aspects of managing their accounts. According to its help page, multi-user account access, or MUAA, is a great way to delegate your workload. For example, you can assign specific tasks to an employee, such as creating your eBay listings or printing shipping labels. You'll also address detailed activity logs for each account you add. But even granting partial access to accounts should be handled carefully. In a recent thread, an eBay seller said that their VA didn't ship the items to customers and ran away. eBay suspended the seller's account after customers requested refunds. It wasn't clear from the post that the seller was using eBay's MUAA feature or what protection that might have offered if they had. Likewise, in a thread on Amazon, a seller warned that there were a lot of Facebook groups offering VA services that only want to access sellers' Amazon's accounts for nefarious reasons. The main thrust of the conversation was about the advisability of engaging in a retail arbitrage strategy on Amazon and the reliability of advice given by experts on YouTube and other such channels. It's not just virtual assistants. Sellers advise colleagues to use due diligence when hiring agencies to manage their online advertising. In one Amazon discussion board thread, a seller asked if that was allowed on Amazon and wrote, "I met a guy on Facebook. He's from Pakistan. He's been helping me with understanding how PPC works. He also offered me the service for $300 a month for him to take care of all my campaign ads and PPC." One seller outlined one of the risks of hiring an expert. If they log into multiple clients' accounts and one of those accounts gets suspended, there could be a related accounts issue that prompts Amazon to suspend all the accounts for being related to that suspended account. But another seller quickly pointed out that they use an agency with great success. It's completely fine to hire a third party to handle PPC. While I wouldn't trust some random guy from Pakistan on Facebook, I do know plenty of legitimate individuals and businesses. In fact, I pay an agency to handle my PPC reimbursement requests, A+ content, deals, etc. It's brought my costs down significantly. It's worth pointing out that some of the sellers who said they've been suspended for using VAs were based in other countries, including Pakistan. That isn't just a problem that impacts US-based sellers. A colleague of ours used a virtual assistant for years. Her emails were always answered promptly, and her social media accounts were managed professionally and timely. But I have no doubt she took time to search and thoroughly vet the person before granting any access to her accounts. There's an adage made famous by a New York cartoon that applies when hiring someone sight unseen. On the internet, no one knows you're a dog, and that applies when looking for a virtual assistant. What kind of vetting do you do when searching for VAs, agencies, or vendors for that matter? Do Zoom interviews help in the vetting process? Well, Randy, sir, you don't have virtual assistants. You have all employees, so to speak, that are on site. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like the whole virtual assistant thing. Maybe
Right.
it works for you. You know what? And that's good. I don't feel comfortable with it. But I'm a controlling individual.
Right.
So, I probably would never like it. Although I have used places like Fiverr to do things for me. And I actually like Fiverr.
Yeah, if you find a good employee, I mean, I need some work done with graphics and things, and I'm probably hire somebody on Fiverr just for the more technical and things I want really done, super professionally.
I mean, I used to have a maintenance person that did all my work around my house, and I could trust them to do whatever work and make decisions when I wasn't even there. And most of the time, it was acceptable. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But that was a full-time job, and they worked for me pretty much full time. So if I went in a room painted green, it was going to be painted green.
Right.
And if I didn't like it, they'd come back and maybe we'll paint it yellow.
Give another can of paint it to this color, right?
But I don't like the I don't like the sight unseen thing. I can't see giving people a bunch of stuff and say, here, photograph it. We saw what happened with Bobby.
Exactly.
And that's difficult because it's you're not taking experienced people, and for the most part, most resellers don't want to pay $20 or $30 an hour, okay, which is currently the going wage in the United States.
Yes,
I mean, it's
yes.
Starting wage at Bimbo Bakeries is $26 an hour.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's like it's $15, $16 typically at McDonald's, and you're telling me up your area is even higher. So the normal going rate for like a retail store is like $20 some an hour, right?
Yep. So and I remember just a few years back, everybody thought I paid really high wages when I said, I have part-time people that we start at $15 an hour. And back then, everybody wanted to pay them $8 an hour. Well, you know what? You're going to get what you pay for.
Exactly.
I mean, telling somebody you want to pay a minimum wage means, you really don't respect them.
Yeah. Yeah, but both Beth and Lisa made some great comments. And Beth had said, if you have to preview and edit someone else's listings, you might as well take the 2 minutes and listen yourself. And you see Lisa's comment, a lot of resellers don't make $20 or $30 an hour for themselves, let alone paying an assistant that kind of money. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, folks. Randy, why don't you do this portion of your I usually do my closing. Why don't you do your little portion and tell people about your business and about your facings.com, and you probably do a better job of explaining what you offer on your site than I can. Why don't you tell people about what you sell on your site? I'll make you full screen here.
Okay. About 30, well, no, it's about 50 years now. I started a company and we developed flavored coffees. Okay. We were one of the first companies when there were only 3 flavored coffees. I think it was vanilla, chocolate, and cinnamon. I worked with most of the flavor techs to develop almost 90% of the flavors out there. I went to Carnation and said, hey, can you guys make me a flavored creamer? And they told me there was no market for it. And today you can see that Carnation dominates the flavored creamer industry. So what there was no market for, if they wouldn't have gone to that step, I think it would be almost nothing. The flavored coffees that we sell, we actually roast and flavor and grind and do everything. And we've been doing it for 50 years. Okay. I import my own tea. We also do the flavoring of the tea. I was a spice broker, so we still handle a few spices. And we only handle basically the higher end whole spices. I can tell you that today somebody complained because they bought a 2-pounder and they said my 4-pounder was the same price. and they were absolutely right, and they were both underpriced. One I was selling at quite a loss, and the other one I was making 11 cents on. So unfortunately, my personal website is the last place I up the prices on. So if you want to get a good deal on something, go to the site. Otherwise, just look around, maybe give you some ideas. Okay, that's, basically what I've done most of my life.
And you have old-fashioned candies as well. Once you mention some of the old-fashioned candies you have on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have atomic fireballs, we got jawbreakers, we got basically every candy you had as a kid, no matter how old you are or how young.
I used to go to those penny and 2-cent candy shops and the local little
Sure.
stores and pick all that stuff up.
That's when you could get a bag full of stuff for a nickel.
Yeah.
But that doesn't last anymore. But anyway, I mean, you know what? Everybody likes candy. Most people like coffee.
And basically, your coffees are gourmet, and the prices are delicious and they're very competitive.
I would say my prices are competitive.
Yep.
I mean, I've sold Wegmans for the last 22 years. They've been
Wegmans is a regional supermarket chain in basically New York,
Wegmans
I guess, or Maryland.
Wegmans is considered the best in the marketplace.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think they are too.
Right.
I know the people there. I've dealt with them. I've had 9 buyers so far. That's how long I've done business with them.
It's a long time.
But, they're great people to work with. Visit it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's Fasigs.com, Fasigs.
And I have the link in the description of the video. And like I said earlier, and I always typically say that Randy is kind enough if you guys register on the site and you put AE. I'm sorry, I'm using my initials. My YouTube channel initials are AE. You put that next to when your name when you register. Randy is kind enough to pay me a little commission, no cost to you guys. So it helps me out as well. So
I see that. Buy Adam a cup of coffee. Come on, he needs a caffeine. He needs to wake up.
I didn't have any coffee today, Randy. I haven't had an ounce of coffee today.
That's terrible. It's
I had some sparkling energy drinks or something.
He's going to miss the baseball game. He's going to fall asleep in the middle of it.
Yeah. We don't want that happening, right?
That's right.
Hello, hanging with Chef. There we go. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. I thought it was Chef. Maybe I need to. Raina, I told you I need new glasses.
Yeah, I got this new little selfie light for like $1.25. I'll show it to you. Let me turn it off because. Oh, yeah, okay. There we go. $1.25 at the $1.25 tree.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
Hey, you know what? It works great.
Hey, like I said, I always look for a bargain. I got my free. Beth saying go Astros. I got my free chicken sandwich today because the Phillies beat the Astros yesterday. I got my free chicken sandwich. Although I had to buy something else, I got my free chicken sandwich. But
yeah, I looked for it. I didn't have one on my app, so maybe it'll be on.
You should have had it on your app. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes mine show up a day late.
Oh, that's not good. Day late, $1 short.
As long as it's free.
Anyway, guys, like I said, I just want to remind you, I showed you that Stream Deck, and I'm trying to do this as best I can. I'm trying to make this content interesting and try to bring on knowledgeable resellers to help you guys and help myself as well become better resellers. So again, want to remind you guys to hit that thumbs up before you leave, and just like Randy said, you can buy me a cup of coffee. I have PayPal. If you're getting value from what I'm doing, and like I said, it takes time and a minimum of 3 to 4 hours, minimum 3-4 hours, even if I'm just doing a news show or I'm doing an interview, because I do pre-interviews. I did a show. I do pre-show. I do end of the show. So it's a minimum of 3 to 4 hours I do this. And every Wednesday come, we'll say hell or high water, I'm on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So again, guys, if you're getting some value, please consider helping me offset some of the expenses. So
yeah, plus we're gonna be doing a 12-part show, 15-minute segments that everybody needs to see.
Absolutely. So actually, my friend Beth is in the chat. Beth, I'm probably going to reach out to you as well, because I'm going to try to reach out to to Johnny. Johnny may watch the replay. I'm going to reach out to Johnny to have help me with the more. But Beth also uses that same program, Randy, that same editing program. So I'll probably reach out to Beth. Maybe she can help me get some of this editing stuff down pat. So
That's right.
I think
Adam needs help. You know,
I definitely need help. Okay. So since some of you guys had it today, I see you're all bailing out. You want to get to the baseball game, but I'll tell you what happened here. I tried to save $8 or $10, so I was trimming it's technically a Van Dyke. It's not a goatee, because if you have a mustache, it's a Van Dyke. I trimmed it, I messed it up, I shaved the whole thing off, and then I went and got a $15 haircut. So anyway, that's why I look like I do now. So I'm trying to grow back in the facial hair. So anyway, guys, appreciate you being here. And like I said, I'm always looking for other resellers to come on and to interview every Wednesday. So reach out to me, AdamsExploits on all my social media. And I have all my links listed in the description of the video, as well as Randy's fakesys.com if you want to buy some really neat gourmet products from Randy. And again, if you put AE next to your name, it helps me out as well at no cost to you guys. So anyway, folks, see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm not going to say go Astros. Well, I guess I did say go Astros, Beth, but go Phillies. Okay. All right, folks. See you next Wednesday. Take care now.
Good night.